I actually went on a summer break, basically, without planning it. With actually not like telling anyone about it, because obviously it wasn't planned. But yeah, we're back. Hello? Oh my god! It's been such a long time. Am I recording? Yeah. It's been such a long time. I actually can't remember when I recorded the last time. Just after Montreal. Yeah, when I was talking about Montreal. That was mid of June. We have September now. I haven't posted or uploaded anything for a month. And after I was like editing the Montreal episode, I was like, okay, I will like record the next episode with like what's happening right now and like what I'm gonna do now. And then I will take like a summer break for a month or something, because it will be really hectic. And then it was actually the other way around. Like, it was hectic and there was so much going on, and I was actually not in the mental state of like recording an podcast or an episode. Guys, if you would have known how bad I felt in between, that hurts. That really, and I couldn't. Even if I wanted to, I really, really couldn't. And as you know, like everything I do is like my whole heart and my whole soul. Everything I do, every video, every episode is actually a part of me. That's why I post also like heavy stories, but I can't be productive in a way, or I can't put myself out there for other people if I don't feel well for myself. So that's also one reason why it took so long for me to actually feel better to record a new episode. But yeah, here we are now again, and I'm so happy. I planned that for at least 2 weeks to record, and I just finished the preparation for this episode. I definitely feel better now. I feel really, really good right now, and I'm really happy about that. If you would have asked me 3 or 4 weeks ago, God. But yeah, let's jump into it. Today's episode will be a quick recap, or like a quick summary of what I went through in Montreal, and then when I got back between Montreal and Toronto, and when I went to Toronto and when I came back, especially when I came back. I uploaded all the stories and the texts on Instagram already, but just in case you missed it, it's also nice for me to have like an episode that includes everything and is like a whole in itself, to basically close it and move on. I don't know how to do it, because I feel really good and I'm really, really excited for this episode. I love, not even for this episode, I'm so happy to be back at like recording, but still it was really, really heavy. It was really, really bad. So I'm actually not quite sure how I can like compromise the heavy feelings with like my feeling right now, but we will see. Most of the things I will talk about in this episode are actually just like the texts I posted on Instagram. I'm hoping that this episode will be like short, so it's also nice for me to like not having to edit too much. And yeah, about Montreal, as you probably, if you listen to the past episodes, or if you followed the stories about Montreal, you know that I wasn't good. I wasn't good at all. I was already running on empty when I first got to Montreal, but I needed to scratch together the rest of my energy to put myself out there, to present myself, to apply it to places, to explain my situation, and to not let them see them actually not good, because what would that be of an oppression? But to be fair, like most of the people don't even notice anyways, but it's important for me to like not let them see, in case they're like aware of like vibrations. And holding this pressure all by myself all the time, that is hard and that is exhausting. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure some of you can relate and some of you know how it feels. I don't have words for that, but it is a really, really present feeling in your chest. In situations like this, one thing that always pops in my head is, I don't know if people can imagine how much pressure lies on your own shoulders. Handling all the stress and pressure all by yourself all the time. Sometimes it makes you feel that you just want to run away, but you can't. You have to deal with this situation and this moment and this feeling. I wrote a text about it when I was in Australia. I know where it was. It was in Broome. I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't have anything to do. I was really like stuck in the place I was, and it was too hot to go outside. It was shitty inside, so you were stuck in your own head and your own thoughts in this situation. I will read the text I wrote back in Broome, and I also posted in my story when I was describing the whole Montreal time. Most of the time I'm with myself. I know who I am. I'm strong and love myself. But sometimes you don't want to be strong. Sometimes you don't want to be the one who loves you, even though you do. Sometimes you want to be loved. Sometimes you want to let go of control. And yes, sometimes you just need motivation and encouragement from the outside. I'm actually not sure if I read this text already in one of my earlier episodes. It feels really familiar, as I have done it before. But yeah, that was like actually the perfect text how I felt, and it describes it really well. And after that, I posted another story, which were like my thoughts in the moment. Don't get me wrong, I do have my people I can call, people who are there for me, love me, support me. Friends can give you a kind of love that no partner ever could. Just like partners can fill a space that even your best friend or you yourself can't fill. Especially after being alone for a long time. I hate that. I hate that I feel this way. I hate that I feel the need to stop relying only on myself. Because that's the only way. The only way I've ever done things. The only way I know. But it is what it is. That's how I feel. And I have to accept it. Not only the Montreal episodes, also like the whole Montreal time in general was basically really well explained, pushing me on limits while already running on empty, keeping going even though I already felt exhausted, which in the end led to emotional exhaustion, physical overload and mental overwhelm, completely disconnected from myself. Yeah, love it. So I think I really hit rock bottom there, but I did not realize until after I got back. What I all experienced and went through in Montreal, I got back and just continued with my life, started work, I think the next day after, completely back in my routine. And I remember walking to the cafe to open. I was listening to my music, crossed this one bridge, and those exact thoughts came into my mind and stopped for a second, and I was starting writing it down. That's what I'm gonna read, and that's also one thing I posted already on Instagram. I was at the end, not mentally, not psychologically, not physically. I've been there before, and that was bad enough. But this time I was at the end. Soul-wise. I close my eyes and I see myself running to the lookout in Alice Springs with Celine. I see myself laughing in the car with Francie. When I close my eyes, I think of the people I met, the people who filled my soul. I can count them on one hand. After 3 years. 3 years traveling the world. Oh, Whistler, you're so beautiful. Honestly, fuck off. I don't see it. Not because I'm blind, not because I've seen prettier places, but because the people here block my view and my breath. When people ask me how I liked Whistler, I always started with the good things. Whistler's nature is really beautiful. No, I was just repeating what others told me, even though I felt completely different. And I remember I was in a village and it was a grey day. I crossed the road in front of the village entrance, and there was one thought that was so present. And this one thought, my soul is dying here. I wrote another text about that, but I put both. When I posted this text, I put both texts together. That's just like a tiny side note, and then I will continue reading the rest. If someone asked me now how I found Whistler, or how I feel about it, soul death, it burns in my chest, it hurts, I hate it, and I rarely hate anything. I feel anger, frustration, and hatred towards this place, all covered by a quiet acceptance. I tried, I gave it chances, I approached people, and what came out of it? Nothing. Or, because of people's reactions, I began to question myself and my very being. I thought I was safe from losing myself, because I know myself and because I've been through this before. But Whistler and its people made me lose myself, disconnected from my soul. And yes, maybe I just don't know how to appreciate Whistler's nature the way others do or would. Maybe because I'm not a mountain person. But that's not why I'm here. Not why I travel, explore, and go to places without knowing how I will feel. Because for me, it has always been about the connections. About this text, the soul death part, as heavy and deep as it is, that was the thought I had when I crossed the road. The other bit about anger and frustration and hatred towards this place, all covered by quiet acceptance, was another situation when I catched up with, not really a friend, we just like knew each other, and she came into the cafe and I just finished my shift, so we just sat down and we were talking about Whistler, what else what we experienced so far and stuff, and when she came and when I came, and the way I spoke about Whistler, I was like already done. The way I spoke about it was with so much frustration and hate. I don't even want to do anything anymore. I don't even have to go out anymore. I don't even have to meet new people. And like, that's not who I am. Like, I love meeting new people. I love being surrounded by people. Having, maybe starting with fucking small talk. It just took so much of myself, of things I enjoy, of things I do naturally. If people asked me about Whistler, I was the wrong person to ask. Like, really, I just felt so much hate. I say how it is, and like I barely feel hatred. When I drove back home, I was in my car and I was just about to pass Creekside, and like the sun was shining in a special angle. And I just realized what I said, or how I said the things about Whistler. And I was like, not shocked, but I was like, I speak about it with so much hate and so much anger and frustration. And that's not me. I can't even recognize myself anymore talking about a place or something like this. I was so shocked about my way of speaking about Whistler, while I realized it's all covered by like a quiet acceptance. I just accept it, but it deep down there's so much more, like the frustration, the hatred. So that's this part of the text. And with like, I gave it chances, I approached people, and what came out of it, what triggered me the most was that I approached people, they act as I'm like hitting on them. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just kind, I'm just well raised. Like, what is your fucking problem? And then there was another story where I just like gave a compliment about a hoodie. The reaction I got, I was like, excuse me? The thing with me is, if I see something I like, I say it. I don't give a fuck about the gender. If it's a man or a woman or a girl or a boy, I don't care. I just see the item, or I don't know, the eyes or the smile or whatever, and I just see this, not the bigger picture. I just see the small detail. And I go up to them and I tell them that I like this or that or whatever it is, just because I feel the need to say it. I'm more than happy if the compliment makes their day, even if I don't know it. And then the reactions I get or I got, you didn't even deserve my fucking compliment. Like, I regretted it so badly with like this one person. Honda Racing pullover. I don't say more. Like, what the fuck? That was such a fucking attitude. Because I spoke with a friend about it after. Like, especially with the reaction. I was like, that's how I am. That's how I act. And like, just doubting myself or regretting the thing that is natural to me and regretting that I did it just because of a person's reaction. Just regretting what you do if you would do it normally. That was so fucked to me, honestly. I was like, fuck the people here. Fuck Whistler. That was one big part when I got back. And the last part with, yes, maybe I just don't know how I appreciate Whistler's nature, was basically after I posted the 3 parts or like the text together. That was like what popped into my head straight away after, because I was like, there are so many people here that actually, they really love Whistler. They are so right here in Whistler by doing their mountain biking or their skiing or whatever. But I'm not into it. Like, I'm not into that at all. I'm happy to try new things. I'm happy to do it, but I'm not. I have one friend at home. His Instagram name was, when I first met him, something with downhill. And I never had a fucking clue what it meant. And his profile picture was like him on a bike. And then I think it took me a year or even longer to realize that downhill is actually something in mountain biking. I don't even know how to explain the things. I know what it is, but I can't explain it. God, I feel so dumb. It took me, I think, over a year to actually realize why his name was Downhill. But anyways, this one friend, when I first got to Whistler, he messaged me saying, oh, I'm living his dream. And I actually did not realize when he messaged me that what he meant. When he messaged me that regarding Whistler, I was like, it's not that I think, oh yeah, sure, I know. Yeah, I want to understand what they mean, because every single perception or thought is so different. Even if I post something in my story talking about my perception, the way people read it is connected with their experiences. So it's completely different, the way they perceive it and the way I write it. So when he messaged me that, because I got to Whistler in winter, but I was so much in the present, knowing, okay, it's a ski resort, that I did not realize that it is a big place to be in summer for mountain biking. I sometimes take a while with things, but when he messaged me that, I assumed, oh, he just means like the skiing. But the closer we got into summer and the more I realized, okay, it is a place to go for mountain biking, the more I realized I'm living his dream because he's into skiing and mountain biking. Some people really love it here and like they're right here. For example, my friend, he would live his best life here, like going skiing in winter every day and going up the mountain biking every single day in summer. It's not that I hate it here. It's not that Whistler is shit. It is not. It's just, it depends on the person you are. And I do see what Whistler is for other people that are more into skiing or mountain biking or like all the outdoor activities, outdoor sports. I do see it. I get it. I know it is my opinion. It is my perception. No one has to agree with me. Not a single soul. But at the same time, it was important to me to like write that or like mention that after. Yeah, maybe I don't appreciate Whistler's nature the way others do or would, because that's not the reason why I'm here. As I mentioned in the text, it has always been about the connections for me. Whistler was not the right place for what I wanted or needed. It's basically it, and that's okay. It's important for me to mention that just because I share how I feel and my perception of reality, it doesn't mean it's everyone's reality. Some people came here and found love. Some people came here and found purpose. Some came here and found happiness. Whistler even saved them. No one and nothing is wrong. People live their own lives with their own perceptions and experiences. And I see that. I see why people love Whistler and the lifestyle, because that's exactly how I felt in Cairns. I see it and I get it. I just think I wasn't lucky this time. And I often wonder, am I the problem? Do I need to change? Because I can't and don't want to adapt here. Do I automatically exclude myself just by being who I am? I know I'm not the problem, but that's how it feels sometimes. I've never regretted coming here, but I do often wonder how things would have turned out if I had gone to Tofino, Nelson or Banff instead. That was like the current text, basically. The text I wrote on top of like the thoughts and the feelings I had in the first place between Montreal and Toronto. And when I posted this text that was like after Toronto, I realized something. So between Montreal and Toronto, I felt like this, like what I read. I wasn't good. Not at all. It was such a weird in-between, feeling really empty and feeling like floating around, not knowing what to do or where to go, and not having the capacity of thinking about what I will do or what should I do and where should I go. As I mentioned, I got back and I started working, I think, the very next day. So I worked a lot. I was working all the time. Even though I knew what I should do, I basically deep dive into work. And it was also a way to like keep myself busy because, yeah, I didn't have the capacity to like think about, okay, what's next? I stepped back from basically everything because I was overwhelmed by everything, basically. So I spent a lot of time at home, just sitting in silence, being by myself to sit with the feeling and just like, yeah, being with myself. And I also like had my routine. It didn't felt that good, so I found myself like a new routine, like things that are actually good for me. And yeah, I found in that way like a bit of motivation where I care about me and do good things, small things every day for myself. And that helped me actually. Like I was really happy with my newfound routine because that was kind of like, that was my anchor in this time between Montreal and Toronto. But still, there was still the voice of knowing what I should do. But I didn't have, as I said, I didn't have capacity to like actually listen to this voice because I was so much in the in-between at this time. And even though I knew what I should do, what was best for me, I kept coming back to reconsidering. That was the time before Toronto. And then I flew to Toronto. It was so nice. But at the same time, I did not feel fulfilled. Not how I thought I will feel. I really, truly felt empty. And I only went to Toronto to the Coldplay concert. And I extended a few more days before and after to have like a proper Toronto city trip. And regarding the concert, that's what I posted on Instagram as well, like in my stories. It's still in the highlights. You saw it maybe on Instagram. I was just truly hurt and I couldn't push this feeling away. I had put myself out there with my last bit of hope, open and vulnerable, and I got those reactions in return. And all of that left me just dumb, embarrassed, and hurt. Yeah, even before the concert, when I was in Toronto walking through the streets with the girl I met, acknowledging that I don't feel fulfilled, I messaged my therapist already and we were able to speak when I got back to Whistler. So I flew back and try to carry on with my life as if nothing had happened. I was walking around the village with my AirPods in my ear, without actually listening to music, with my sunglasses on, with a cap, to like just hide how I feel. And like, I don't want it to be seen, I don't want it to be asked how I am or like how the concert was, because that was the worst question actually. It was really bad, but I could finally talk to my therapist at some point. Did it help? A bit. What she helped me to remember and also like to explain at the same time, she reminded me of how I am. I'm such a positive person, my core, and I always try to see and take the positive in things. But so many negative and intense experiences have happened since I got here, and it's made it so much harder for me to be strong in my core, like to keep up the positivity. If you're surrounded by shit, at some point you don't have the energy anymore to take out the good thing. At some point you can't, especially if you do it over and over again all by yourself all the time. There's no person that does this for you, not even for one day, not even for a second. It's always you and yourself, or me and myself. That's how it was always. So I then had to think about what now, because I can't and I definitely shouldn't stay here in this state I am. I know it will be better, but I know the core of how I feel here is not good. And I'm not sure if I can describe it as a toxic environment, but not good. So I spoke about it and I realized how soon it will be to like leave. Not psychologically, okay, not psychological. That will be so hard.